There's very few jobs I don't love doing on the sheep farm. One of them being weaning, and today is weaning day. You? Did you do that? Did you do that? Okay, these were the bottle babies here. So they've been off this machine for a while. I had nipples coming out there. So they've been on water and feed for, oh, a good month now. So I'm going to just take out the dividers, take out the feeders, get all these pens cleaned up. So these guys are about 8 weeks old, 8 to 9 maybe some of them, but most of them are about 8 weeks old. I'm gonna do my best to not edit this as much. I've been trying to do that more with my videos to really give you guys an authentic sensory of what really happens on the farm. Some days are really loud, some days are nice and quiet and peaceful. Today is one of those days they call out for each other. The mums will do that for about 2 days, the babies about the same. When you do separate them, and because I take them to a different barn, because they can't hear each other, they forget about each other pretty quick. So although today might sound kind of sad or stressful, it's very short-lived. Well, it was kind of like me when I took Jack to college for the first day. I had to swallow my tears, and then as soon as I got to the car, I cried, and it lasted for maybe 5 minutes. And then after that, I could see that they were fine and I was fine. And with Jess, I will probably have a nervous breakdown. So there's that. I can relate. Apparently they found the spilled feed everywhere. I'm gonna try something a little bit new this time. What I'm gonna do is grab a pail of creep, or like a little bit of creep, and I'm gonna actually sprinkle it into the feeders where I want them to go so they will stay, because they might move over there, and between the lambs kind of tailing behind them and the fact that they know that there's food there, they're gonna want to circle back and come back, and if they circle back, then I'm screwed. I'm gonna try it. It doesn't hurt to try. Okay, locked and loaded. Busy. I warned you it would be loud. So I thought I'd just take you in here to show you, I set this up yesterday. I'll just put these kind of right to the trailer. So when the lambs run in, they will just directly go right into the pen. I went through yesterday and filled the feeders with feed. Sometimes when I have a big group of weaned lambs and I think feeder space might be an issue, I will actually feed them on the floor for a few days because if they're really crowding on these, I have had some bloat issues. So this will be a change for them because they went on a complete pellet to this mix. So there will be a little bit of a transition, but what I found the last few groups, it's been very seamless. I just have to make sure they always have a ton of hay to keep that rumen going and healthy. They'll be probably more interested in this for a while. Until they get really onto this grain. It does have its pack from the last group. The last group in here wasn't in here very long, and I was trying to get this cleaned out before this group came in. It didn't happen, and now we're under snow, so I have nowhere to put this manure. So it is a dry, really dry and packed down. You can see what I did is I'll just bed on top. I also kind of kept this manure in to retain some heat. Now this barn has got an insulated ceiling, so it stays pretty good, but these water lines cause me problems every year. You can see I've already got them plugged in with some heat cord. So that's the other thing. You do get some thermal insulation if you leave a little bit of pack. I was scared if I took this right down to the bare cement that it would get too cold. These guys are almost at that 5-month mark, so they are not going to be in here for much longer, but I want to keep them I may keep them a little bit longer just again to retain that heat, and the markets are not great. All right, I'll take this ramp back to the other barn and wait for Jess. Okay, just before I get the trailer, I thought I'd show you the setup. So this is our homemade ramp, and we measured kind of, this is for market lambs, but it kind of works for wean lambs. It's a bit big. It would be better if this was narrower. So the good news is I backed up perfect the first time. The bad news is everything's frozen, so I can't get the door open. I barely get the lock up, so I guess hot water, and then everything will be slippery. Have I mentioned I don't like winter? Locked and loaded again. This is the hard part. Say watch out for your pants, but you're Let's see how good we did today. Oh, holy cow, you guys. First try. That is somewhat impressive. They look pretty good. They're not as loud as I've seen them before, but these lambs are all over the hay, which is what I was hoping, and only a few on the feeders. So I'm hoping that will help with the transition of the grain. The grain always worries me for grain overload. I'll be keeping an eye on them in the next few days, making sure they get onto my water bowls, because the water bowls are a bit different. So these are the water bowls. So they're much different. They're much different than the ones in the other barn. There's a little bit of feed in there already. So they have to press this spigot for water. But the good thing about these bowls, there's a tiny little crevice down there that the water puddles. So when they go to get that water, they hit this by accident. Transitioning to the water bowls, transitioning to the grain, always making sure that there's enough hay is kind of what I'm gonna have to do for the next few days to make sure the transition is good. Hey guys, it's Sunday morning. It's been 3 days since we weaned the lambs off these ewes. And I just wanted you to hear the difference that 3 days makes. They were actually quiet yesterday, but we were doing corn, so I couldn't get in here and get some footage. It's so much less stressful when I move the lambs right out of the barn. This is the ration that they've been getting. So they've been getting kind of a dry ration, which is some haylage and some dry hay that I have. Usually I just do dry hay, but I'm a little bit short this year, so I'm just adding a little bit of my haylage. They will be on this dry ration for probably a good month to dry off, and then they'll start, this will be the journey back into their next lambing group already. So they'll be flushed for 2 weeks after those 4 weeks, and then the breeding cycle will start again for them. They will be bred again in January, so those guys will go with those ewe lambs, not with them, but they will be bred at the same time as the ewe lambs in January. Sometimes I show you the day that I do stuff, and there's never kind of a follow-up to kind of the before and after of what a process like this looks like. You heard how bad it was 3 days ago, and it's much better now. Okay, we're in the lamb barn. It's a whole lot quieter than the other day. They're transitioning really well. They're getting onto the water really well. So they're figuring out the water, which is good. So nice, so much quieter. Have a good weekend, guys. Thanks for watching.